What's up, everybody? Bobby Simmons is in the building, and as y'all can see, well, we can only do it this way, zoom it in this way, the one and only legendary from the group New Edition, but I'm talking about the one and only Ralph Tresvant is in the building. What up, fam?
There you go, man. Good. Listen to you. Bobby, you're doing big things, baby. You're still keeping it rocking. I love it, man. It's good to see you still in the middle of your craft, man, doing what you love, bro.
Thanks a lot, man. I'm trying to keep it busy. But listen, man, for this interview, I mean, you know, because we go back, man, since some Fresh Fest days, you know, with Menudo.
Menudo on the Fresh Fest. How big is that, huh? And shut the building down.
Exactly, right? But for this conversation, man, I love your name, Riz. Can I say Riz is in the building?
You family, man, of course.
It's my man, Riz. And he's doing his thing, and we are so glad. And I mean this from the bottom of the heart, man. We're so glad because we done seen Bell Biv DeVoe do their thing. We've seen Johnny Gill do his thing. We even seen Bobby Brown do his thing. We was like, okay, what's happening with Riz? Is Riz gonna drop? And ladies and gentlemen, he dropped, and we're gonna talk about that new single, All Mine. But first of all, man, how are you doing, and how's the family, man?
Everybody's good, man. You know, we're staying safe like we should be, like everybody is right now. It's kind of crazy being isolated. You know, you can't really function the way that we used to seeing life, functioning through life, you know, but we're making the most of it. Nobody's really got hit hard. I have one uncle that got hit with he checked out from the COVID, man. My Uncle Richard, rest in heaven, Uncle Rich. He was that cat that we all looked up to and mimicked, man, as far as the swag and the coolness and where we come. That was from my Uncle Rich, man. So we miss him, but everybody else, man, we've been real fortunate to stay clear of it. And you know, my kids are grown, they doing their thing. Everybody's thriving right now, so I feel good, bro. It's
good, man. Well, you're looking good, man. I see you rocking. You got the Marvin Gaye going on, you know what I'm saying? That's all right, though. It's okay. You got the Marvin Gaye happening over there. We're not mad at you. But you
Listen,
look good.
I'm trying to vibe out. As I was sitting there talking about my kids doing good, my son Dakari was trying to chime in just now, man. I got to call him.
Okay.
That was a good look. He was right on cue with that one. But yeah, I'm still enjoying life, man. You know, making the most of it. Like you said, everybody else got a chance to really rock and show their personality as individuals in the game. You know, and my always kind of been even as a solo artist, the things I was doing was more so a take on more of what I represent as, you know, a New Edition, as a New Edition member. So when I was doing solo records, I kind of just stayed in that lane. It was safe, it was working, that's what people knew, and I didn't want to kind of come out there and be something people didn't know. You know, just stay in the lane that I see working. This next project, and it took a while to put together that way. And, you know, we all had to grow, Bobby. You know, we got to grow up. As we grow up, there's things that you just want to address, things you want to let off, things that you want to make sure people understand about you before it's too late. That's what this album is about. This project is about really going out here and establishing the real true me, away from the group's imagery, away from what people already know about me, and give them a little bit more. If you're personal with me and you know me like that, you'll understand this album even more so as being closer to who I am, who Riz is at the end of the day, who RT is. So that's what the whole intake is. It's like, you gotta grow, you gotta go through some things. I had to raise my children, had to go through the ups and downs of the industry, the ins and outs of being in groups, from Heads of State to New Edition, and just different vibes, just trying to keep in tune and keep in step with what's already working for you. And this one here was it's gonna be a lot more just the gumbo of music that I grew up in, all the different styles and flavors, from the Heat Wave to the Marvin Gayes, to Michael Jacksons, to the Parliament Funkadelics, and all these different things that I was exposed to as a child. That was a big piece of the blueprint that I went to when I was listening to music, or when I wanted to vibe on music, what I thought was great music. I want that to reflect in this project, not to mention the hip-hop game and, you know, all the stuff that you guys kind of became pioneers and legends in. All that stuff was a part of my life, man. I never really got a chance to incorporate that into my music or into me as an artist and let people see that reflection. So hopefully I can put it together in a way where it's pleasant, it feels good, and everybody can respect it at the same time.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. I mean, speaking of that, because, you know, you said you stayed in your lane when you actually began your solo project. in the very beginning, like the late 80s going into the early 90s. Doing it now, did you feel that it was manic, like I really now got to change the game of it, or because people still love the New Edition, or I don't even want to say New Edition, just a Ralph Tresvant sound, you know, because let's just call it what it is, New Edition, because you were, and not were, but still are the front man and the voice of that group. At this particular point in time, are you trying to run away from that particular sound? So like you said, people need to get more into you with this project, because you just mentioned a lot of names: Heat Wave, Parliament Funkadelic. Like, where you going with this, fam?
I think at the end of the day, it's not so much a strain away from it. It's an addition to. You want to add on to that style and onto that flavor so that they can feel the full. It's like me loving Michael so much, and wishing I could have heard Michael sing a song that was produced by George Clinton. You know what I'm saying? And just feeling like, what would that feel like? Because those energies merged together seem like something we haven't heard. But if done properly, we both of them being at their peak when they get in the studio and just optimizing what they bring to the table, what that could be is something to me would be amazing. Right. And Michael Jackson's off the wall type vocal and harmony styles on some of that knee deep and that flashlight type of movement. I just think that it would be something so intricate that people who grew up in our era and enjoyed all of those different artists would feel all of those, fulfill a project like that, would feel a combination coming together like that. And I just want to be able to do some of those things like that before it's all over. Because to me, that's what is in my spirit. That's what's in me. You know, although I can do Stone Cold Gentlemen's and do what I got to do, If It Isn't Loves and Cool It Nows and With You All the Way, I can go on and on and on. Telephone Man, just hit after hit. I can continue down that lane, and I will. Right. That's what mine is to me, in reminiscence of that flavor. It's staying in that lane without going too far, but modernizing it, updating it to a point where they can see that I'm still up on what's going on right now in the music, as far as the sounds and what's required to have a hit out there today in today's market. I'm still in tune to that and trying to merge that vibe and that understanding with coming together on a project. Feels like the project or the album that I've always wanted to do. Right. And I just think at the end of the day, if I go in there and I'm able to do it right, which I will make sure it's done right, and I run it by the right ears and all the same people that grow up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis is an intricate part of how I map out.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm making sure I'm mapping out the right project and delivering myself the proper way. You know what I mean? So I will run it by people that I know that really are, they're music people and they understand me as an artist and my strengths and weaknesses, and put together something that incorporates who I am overall instead of just one aspect. I'm not trying to just be Mr. Sensitivity. I'm not trying to just be Stone Cold or Rated R with it. There's a combination, there's a gumbo of music that swirls in my head throughout the day, all day, every day, that I want to see if I can put that down on a project, bring that out.
Now how important, well, of course we know, but how important now Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam are to you, to this project? Because let's go back a little bit real quick to the first album. Well, actually not even the first album. I mean, that whole New Edition Any Heartbreak album was really a Lewis and Jam, is what brought you guys together to grow you up vocally and musically. Because everyone who saw the movie, we already knew that New Edition, the group itself, you were already grown up young men, with the clothes and the suits. And we was like, these young boys are wearing like suits. This is not the time for that. But it worked for you, even when you was doing the Popcorn Loves and the Candy Girls and the Cool It Now. By the time Lewis and Jam got to y'all, now they said, well, the look is going to have to match the music. How important Jam and Lewis were to you as a vocalist to help you find that range so that you won't, because that's what Quincy did to Michael. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a range, but how do we make sure people don't look at you as this bubblegum singer?
Exactly. That's exactly what they were. When we got with them, it was a transition that we was having to make. You know what I'm saying? When we were at an age where we were hitting our upper teens, and really at heart and in spirit and as young men, we were already there. cats that grew up fast from the projects and all of that stuff. We kind of had to slow down
Right.
where we really was when it came to doing the New Edition projects, because the New Edition was so bubblegum and so young. So even during probably the Count Me Out album and the All for Loves and those type of albums, we were already mature wise, probably years ahead of what that album was actually reflecting. Mm. So I think when we got with those guys in '88, that was one of the main objectives, is to mature our vibe, mature our sound, help us cross that bridge from being known as a little young kid group to what we were going to be for the rest of our careers, you know, growing into adults, young adults going into adulthood. We wanted to make sure we had the right people that was one of the goals, basically, to make sure that we could do that properly. Right. And also bringing Johnny Gill into the group, right, which at the time was a part of the maturity, because Johnny has such a mature style and voice already that was going to be a big part of helping us do that and be taken more seriously vocally and as men, you know, guys that are going from boys to men, a lot of song, going from boys into manhood, and having the project and the emergence of Johnny be a major part of how we were supposed to do that. So Jam and Lewis was the key component into and making that happen. So for me, they were the reason why our careers were able to sustain themselves outside of being a young pop group that could have faded out with Count Me Out and Cool It Nows and all that stuff, and being able to maintain and hold on and just further the career with the If It Isn't Love's, you know, going into the Can You Stand the Rains, and those type of records helped us move, help us bridge help us go across that bridge from being little kids to being known as bona fide artists, bona fide musicians, and people that, and a group that could be around for a long time, you know, right, post something that would fade with the childhood stuff. So our goal at one point when we first got into it was to be like the Jacksons. And so we did the young part of the Jacksons. We did right, that well. So the same way that when Michael started losing his voice and he couldn't do all that old ABC, I Want You Back, Mama's Pearl, and those records anymore, at least not in that key.
Yeah. Same with y'all. The same with y'all, because when y'all do Candy Girl, it goes an octave like y'all bring it down. You know?
That was my blueprint. Mike, right, watching Mike and how the Jacksons performed them later on when they started doing I Want You Back and ABC as a medley and all that stuff. That was the same blueprint that we used as we got older. As we started crossing that bridge where I couldn't sing those songs in that key anymore and all that. It's This, the End, Popcorn Love, Should Have Never Told Me, Candy Girl. So all those records were so high when we did them that it was going to come a time where we weren't going to be able to do them that way anymore. So going into that album, and I kind of started that when we were going into moving from the MCA, from the Streetwise record we started with, and going into the new MCA deal. Around the time I kind of found my vocals with doing the Cool It Nows, the Count Me Outs, and some of that stuff when they was doing them on wax, they would pitch them up a little bit. The records would be sped up slightly. Right. I could still keep up with them in concert and stuff like that with the key and the register that was on the radio, but it was still a little higher than probably actually wanted them or actually recorded some parts. But for the most part, it was about trying to establish where I sat then and where I was going to be for years to come. Right. And so coming out of that album into the Heartbreak album was the first, like Sensitivity and all that album. That spawned from the relationship that I started developing with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis during the Heartbreak album, and them learning my voice, learning my strengths and my weaknesses, and where I sat just as a vocalist, tone wise, where I sat as far as ability wise and range and register, where I should sit or where I can go, you know, realistically. They helped fine tune all of that for me, man. And when they put that sound out, those are songs that I can still pretty much do. I can sing If It Isn't Love in my sleep. You know, I can wake up right out of bed, don't have to do any stretches and all that stuff to sing that song. Same thing with Sensitivities and the Can You Stand the Rains and Do What I Gotta Do. Those were all in registers that from the time we got with them in 80, it was 88. Time we got with them in 88 till now, I can still do them. So they were right on point with the register where I needed to start up from and introduce to people as my vocal style and sound, and to now, to the all mine. It's the same basic register that I've been following since I got with those guys in '88. So that's how important they are to my career overall. Not to mention that they gave me my first #1 record ever.
Right.
With sensitivity, and kind of put me on the map as a solo artist in my own right. They did all of that stuff, man. So it's just one of those things for me that even if they don't produce or be a part of the album, which they are, I could not run it by them, let them hear it, get their take on what they think about it and all of that stuff, because they just know me like that, man. They're a major part of my life that way, and I just know that they're gonna make sure that I'm in the right lane when I'm doing what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, as right now, you're definitely in the right lane. And let's jump real quick into this, because this is you and Johnny Gill. Y'all seem to be partners, man. Like, I guess the whole "Can You Stand the Rain" co-lead and lead vocals really brought y'all together here. Because help me out if I'm right, if I'm wrong. We talking about the song "All Mine." Was this song originally for Johnny Gill, or was this song written for you?
It was, Bobby. It was something that was sent to Johnny for him. And he heard and said, "It sounds like my brother," and got me on the phone, basically said, "Man, listen, I want you to hear something." So I listened to the song, and I immediately heard what he heard. It's like, okay, this isn't my lane. It sounds like something that I could do. So I went to his house and recorded it. 3 or 4 hours in the studio, and I left, and about 5 days later, he sent me the song back, slightly mixed with him in it.
Right.
And it just felt like that combo, that magic. It's something about Johnny's, that strong, he has a strong, heavy, Luther Vandross-ish type of approach when he sings record.
Yes.
And that style, when mixed with my style, which is more of a Michael, even more Marvin Gaye-ish, a crooner.
Right.
When you mix those together the right way, it just seems to work. Even if it's not me and Johnny, those two combinations work together with any artist who are able to do that, able to get off those combos. And they offset each other in a way where, like a Johnny record, if he's all the way doing what Johnny does, could be a song that's Gerald Levert-ish. It could be a song that could feel like it's only for a certain age bracket. Right. You know what I mean? And then I could come in on that same record and I can do a song that won't reach that age bracket. You know what I'm saying? But it's for a much younger generation or a genre of music listeners that will vibe with it. And so when we put them together, we open up this world, I think, and bring these both of these fans, bases, and these type of music lovers and listeners to the table on the same project or on the same song.
Right.
And when we figured that, is without really thinking about it, that's something that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis introduced to us back then. When we started doing the Heartbreak album, they showed us how to merge those voices, how to bring Johnny into the group style. And that was the combination that stood out. Me and Johnny as friends, just been rocking ever since then. We got so close. We see the industry the same way. We approach business the same way. We approach our personal lives and how we think in terms of being friends or friendships, what that entails and what that's about. And it just works. Me and him just never had an argument in our lives. We just never had, we have our own opinions and we have our own space and stuff, but we rock together in a way that's just, it works on stage and off stage, man. It's one of those things that it's a real organic and a real thing. Check up on my family, I check up on him and his family. And it's just a real friendship / brotherhood that when we bring it to the studio, you can see the love, you can feel the love, you can feel the cohesiveness and the way that God, the gift he gave him and the gift that God gave me, how they merge together is just the same as how we merge as friends. It works and people just seem to like it. So yeah,
people definitely like it, man. They definitely like it.
You can't plan that, the way he came to the group, and you saw the story, the New Edition story. I wasn't feeling that the way it all went down.
And that's what I was going to ask you. That's what I was going to ask you too, Riz, is that the way the movie has been told through you guys, that you and Johnny, it didn't seem like you were comfortable with them being a group, but you two wound up becoming the best of friends and in business with this song All Mine together right now, which the song is actually doing really big, not only with the New Edition fans. How are you seeing the new audience respond to this new song? Because this is open up to a whole nother generation now. That's like, I saw the movie, but I don't know this group New Edition. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, that's the blessing in it, man. That's what I was just talking about when we combine these voices. Johnny has a whole nother range of people that wouldn't listen to a Ralph Tresvant or New Edition record. You know, it's very rich. It's deep and rich with fans that are people who are fans of real vocalists, singers, if you call them that, you know, call them and stuff like that. And he can get up there on stage with Pop Levert, Charlie Wilson's.
Yeah, but you can't follow Charlie Wilson now. Anybody who's doing a show with Charlie Wilson, don't come on after him.
New Edition never worries about that. And Uncle Charlie tell you that too. It's nice that we know he gonna have to bring his A game that night.
Right.
If we're going on right before him. But we bring the same kind of energy and the same type of fan base and history, catalog. Like Charlie's go back even further than us when you think of the Gap Band.
Yes, sir.
And how he brings that to the stage with him. And he brings his own solo stuff when he went on his own that's fire as well. So, and yeah, he just has a performance. Got the colorful suits, the dances, and a lot of that stuff is just right down our alley. The New Edition with the choreography, synchronized choreography, the fan base that we got, the NE fans / Riz Riders and the JG Roses and all whatever you call them. I don't know everybody's group's names, but I know that they have their own followings for BBD. When they come in the building, they're on their feet all night and they're there to party and make noise.
Right.
And so you got a show that's full of ballads and full of slow tempos. You don't want to come behind New Edition. Charlie's definitely one of those cats that people got to think about it before they come on behind him or anywhere near him on the show on the same bill.
Yeah, right. That's right, Usher.
Yeah, that's Uncle Charlie. That's family. So, that's like my big brother. That's all right. We love him to death. So we've learned a lot from watching Charlie throughout the years in terms of how to keep the crowd engaged and the type of energy you need to be rocking when you get on a stage. You know what I mean? What you should be giving to the people every night. And Charlie does it extremely well. He'll go. Charlie's one of those cats that's supposed to play for 40 minutes and be on stage for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
like George.
Rocking because he's just enjoying it himself like that. So that's the same way with New Edition. When we hit the stage, we have that same thing. But Johnny, go back to the story, he has that he hits that crowd, that audience. The same people that in there loving Charlie's vocal ability and his ability as an artist, love Luther Vandross, and they love the Teddy Pendergrasses and the Sean and Gerald LaVerse and the OJs. They love that he can hit that genre and that generation of artists when he does what he does. Whereas my vocals and what I do won't reach that, but I can hit that Michael and that Smokey. And then in the younger crowds, I can hit somewhere in between some of the people that are doing what they do now, from the Weekends and the Drakes and these cats that if I do the right record, I'll flow right where they flowing at and can fit in. So when we bring those together, we open it up in this way where all of these different people are exposed to the songs or to the records that we're doing. And that allows us to step outside of the fans that we already have and gain new ones each time. And let alone the music, the story, who kind of told the story from the not kind of, but because we were able to tell the story from the beginning, brought in a whole new younger generation of kids and teenagers that are vibing with what the group stood for and meant because of the younger players, the younger actors that played us, and they kind of merged us into the hearts of a whole nother younger crowd.
Yes,
so with that, you got this whole thing of kind of being fresh and relevant and current amongst what's going on even right now. The way that I think you would almost the way that you would look at how Snoop and Charlie did their thing, or how R. Kelly and Ron Isley did their thing, and they kind of merged each other into the younger, into what's popping right now type of. It's kind of done that with the movies. Kind of done that for New Edition. So it's just a beautiful thing to watch it continue to grow. One of the things that New Edition always stood for to me, as the name set, it kind of set it all for me, and that's what it represented to me, is that we can always have a chance to have a current version of it. You know what I'm saying? Where Cadillac's been around forever. They still putting out the Escalade, or they'll pull out the new whatever. It's a new edition of that same brand.
Right.
What New Edition is to me. It's gonna always have a way. We'll always be able to establish a new car in the next era. You know what I'm saying? The new version of that same car for another generation. So that's what I look at it like, man. It's a blessing to be a part of something like that.
Well, we definitely gonna be looking forward to a New Edition. We're not even gonna talk about that because we know it's coming soon. That's not what we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about the single "All Mine." Definitely, everybody, if you don't have it, download it because it is on all platforms. But what I will ask you this before I let you go. Will there be an entire Ralph Tresvant album coming out anytime soon? Because the single's already doing what it's doing. So once the single does what it does, you got to follow up with another single and an album. Will we be looking for that?
You're right, man. So hopefully, toward the end of the winter, somewhere in November, somewhere like that. Well, I really want to work this song so that people are back familiar with having me on the scene, seeing me on the scene as an individual. Household name this record so that when you think of music, you're thinking of All Mine. You're thinking of Ralph Tresvant back on the scene doing his own thing. And right at the peak of that, I'm in the lab with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I'm getting ready to get in the lab and getting songs already submitted from Tim Kelly, from Tim and Bob.
Oh, okay.
Your man Ninth Wonders did a remix to All Mine. We're gonna get a couple more versions of that, man. But his version got a knock on it that's nice. Just working faces, submitted some songs, trying to find some nice collabos to do with maybe Weeknd or Drake. I've got people reaching out to everybody right now to just try to put together a project that feels like, it's one of those things that come along once in a blue moon. It's not something everybody could put together, these type of people on the same project. Me having the kind of history and the love and friendships that I have in the industry, I'm trying to make sure that comes together. We got the right team with Jay Skills. That's my big bro Johnny and his label. We did a collab with my label, Nostap, and then we being moved and distributed through SRG. Claude and CV over there making big things happen with all these old school artists who's giving a home to and an ability to be seen and heard, where, a lot of the younger or the newer labels or the labels where they sit now, they're more onto just doing what they know is working from the rap game or the newer artists that's out and not really reaching out to the Brian McKnights and the Raheem Devines and the Avants and all these cats are kind of hoping to find the right situation, and he's been doing big things with it, man. And me and Johnny's been one of the newer things coming out of there right now that's really allowing him to shine. So with that being said, the right home has been put together, the right family and team is put together. Now we're getting that project together that just feels like it's iconic, something that you don't hear all the time. And once that's, I'll be coming back on the scene. But most definitely, to answer your question, absolutely, I gotta keep it going now. This is me resurging. This is me getting back on the scene as a solo artist, but in the way that I've always wanted to do it. With that real consistency, that real squad behind it that can make sure it's being seen and heard, the right video, everything just right with it. And it took a little time to put that together, to make sure that you had all of those different components together before you drop. But now I have them, and so now it's a matter of putting that project together so that it's fire. I want to make sure that it follows up with this single where the single feels like, okay, that was the least flyest on the album. You know what I mean? Feel like when it's done. So that's been, usually I've been able to accomplish my goals, Bobby. So I believe I'm gonna pull that off in a real way. And I'm gonna be able to merge this gumbo I'm talking about of music and grow people up into who I really am as an artist, what I'm really capable of, and pleasantly shock everybody. I've been DJing,
Well, I mean, like I said before earlier, we have been waiting for you because we've been listening to everybody else in your family put out stuff, and we just been waiting on you, man. And actually, like I said, the All Mine song, big up to Johnny Gill for passing it on to you, saying, hey man, this will work for you. And right now, I can tell you through my radio listeners through iHeart and through 101.9, they all say, yo, I really matter of fact, they wanted me to tell you, people like who've been hitting on the emails. I'm gonna give you names. People like a Chantel or Marley Kudo or Shirley Baker, and all these people like tell Ralph. One person said, I swear to God, one person said, emailed me and said, tell Ralph that All Mine is the bomb diggy. I'm like, that's old. We said that back in the days. You tell him that's the bomb diggy. I'm like, come on, you can't.
Right there, huh? Somebody showed their age on that one. Hey, listen, I still use all my old slang. You hear me say it's dope and all that, impression, all that every now and then too, because that's just where I'm at, man.
But they love it, and you're getting a great response on it. And I'm gonna tell you, man, the same thing I tell everybody, man, that comes through or that I talk to. Music, if I like it, and which I do, I support it. You got my 100% support on this song, man. When this whole COVID thing is over and everyone can freely like merge with each other again, we want to invite you up here to the 101.9 iHeart station. Come hang out. You know, sell whatever you want to sell, man. We don't care. You our peoples, man. It's all about, you know, working together with everybody.
I love it, man. I appreciate that. Shout out to Bow-Legged Lou, man, for really making the connection go down, man. Big fan.
You got to watch out for Bow-Legged Lou, man. I mean, right now he's slowing down, but he got tricks up his sleeves, man. He always do. Man.
He'll put a sticker on your back that says "kick me" or something crazy that while he thinking you hugging him or whatever, and he got you, you know. Yeah, he'll tell a lot of fabricated stories like when we whooped him in basketball back in the days. They'll come in and
that all the time.
He'll talk about how he got you this and he dunked on somebody. I'm like, you ain't did nothing. What are you talking about, man?
And you know what he do? He puts up pictures. He put up still pictures to make it look like, see, we rocked them.
yeah. Until you hear the real story, then he got to come clean. He's like, okay, well, maybe we didn't win, but we couldn't run for their money though, or this, that, yeah. That's my man's though, man. I love him. He got the biggest heart in the world. He's always thinking about everybody else before himself. So love you, Lou, and all the rest of the full force, man. Love all you brothers, man, and thanks for reconnecting me and Bobby together so that we could pull this off, man. That was a good look.
Yes, sir, man. And I appreciate it so much, man. And we're going to definitely get hard on that. Well, we don't have to really get that hard on All Mine because it's already doing what it's doing by itself. But we're going to keep the pressure on it because we want that album, Riz. We want it.
Man,
we want it. You know what I'm saying? And again, I always like to, because I'm a grown man, I like to be respectful first. No disrespect. Big up to my man, Bell Biv DeVoe, Michael Bivens, Ronnie DeVoe. We're going to see New Edition in a minute. Absolutely. Right now. My man, he got to drop that album.
Let me have my moment, man. Let me have my moment to establish that I never got a chance to establish. Just working so hard for New Edition and doing what I do for the group, man. I've never really attacked it the way that I plan on attacking this time. And listen, when everybody else move around, it's never at the detriment or the dismantlement of the group. So don't think that that's what's going on when I'm moving, man. I'm just adding to the legacy, adding to my own legacy so I can secure some other things for my family and my kids and outside. You know, if the rest of the guys never want to move again, I need a lane open. I need something where I can still be able to go and feed my people and feed myself if need to be. So that's all this is. And trying to spread my talent, show what I'm made of outside of the group as an individual, but it's never at the detriment or the dismantlement of New Edition, man. Listen, that's my boy, that's the mother that birthed all this stuff, man. And without that, you wouldn't even know who I am or who the rest of those guys are. So, you know, we allow each other those lanes within the group. So as fans, you know, understand that that's what this is and allow us that same room. Allow me the same room, definitely, to go out there and do what I do. So I can have my same platform opened up as an individual as everybody else has, man.
Well, there you go, man. Riz, do it. We got you. We behind you, and we behind the whole New Edition army. We love all you brothers, man. Right now, Riz is doing this thing in the studio. We look forward to you getting this done. Coming back, like I said, once we get over this COVID thing, but we definitely gonna continue to keep reaching out to you and your people to make sure that everybody just knows what you got going on and what you're doing. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk, man. And we got more stuff to catch up with about too, man, because there's some more stories you probably forgot that I'm gonna remind you on.
The one that you was running by me before we actually started recording, that was before we went on air. That was crazy, man.
I know, right?
But we got him, man. Listen, where's Menudo right now? We still shining, baby.
yeah, exactly right. Well, I mean, they too old now. Ain't nobody trying to see Menudo. They figure like they done moved. They done moved him around, but New Edition is still around.
We're still around, man. After watching them rent out the whole first class while we back there in the coach, man, chilling, looking at them running around with no shirts on and no shoes on up in the class. Like, who are these dudes? And now we still around, but we still around, baby. We got our star on the Walk of Fame. New Edition etches where it need to etch itself, man. So now the rest of us gonna go out here and continue to add to the legacy, to the family, and bless it all, man. You know, just the whole run has been beautiful. And I appreciate you again, as always, Bobby. It's good to catch up with you, man, and see you next. And I will never forget, the next time you hit me up, you ain't gonna have to ask me that.
Next time I call, I'm gonna say, yo, tell him it's Menudo. He'll get it.
I know exactly who it is, too.
All right, baby, man. Riz, thanks so much for taking the time, man, to talk about your new single, All Mine, is on all platforms. Please, everybody, show my man Ralph Tresvant some love. Download it. Show the support. And don't worry about it. Like he said, New Edition they'll be ready when his lane is open right now. Let him drive through. Let him
Absolutely.
drive. All right, Riz, thanks for joining us, man. We're going to catch up with you soon, man.
Anytime, Bobby. You let me know, man. I'll be right here for you, man.
All right, baby. Peace. We'll be back, y'all. Don't disappear nowhere. Check it.